At the time when the sect was on the brink of extinction, a woman went through great hardships to find the founding patriarch who had been in seclusion for 100,000 years. When the patriarch heard that the sect he had established with his own hands was almost destroyed by a third-rate small sect, he was so angry that he threw a little lamb to the woman and ordered it to help her wipe out all the enemies. Who would have thought that this ordinary little lamb was actually a king realm demon, which killed half of the enemy sect with just one sneeze? However, this kind of demon was just the weakest one among the thousands of demons under the Patriarch's command. It turned out that the Patriarch had come to this fantasy continent with a system, and with the system's guidance, he quickly established his own sect dynasty and built up his influence throughout the entire Hongmeng continent. With the system's help, his cultivation level kept improving, and soon he became the strongest person on the Hongmeng continent. In order to continue to improve his strength, the Patriarch decided to go to a higher-level continent to establish a sect. But before he left, the system panel suddenly crashed, and the Patriarch was trapped in Hongmeng and never had a chance to break through his cultivation level again. The Patriarch believed that not being able to break through meant that there were people stronger than him in the world, and his position was not stable. If his position was not stable, he could not lie down and be a lazy person. Since then, he worried every day that there would be stronger people from other continents coming to kill him. Although the system reminded him countless times that he was invincible, he still decided to hide in the most dangerous and remote place in the 9 deaths and 1 life realm. This went on for 100,000 years. Now, with the survival of the sect at stake, Luo Qinchen was elected as the new sect master. Before the old sect master died, he told little Luo that the Patriarch had left a token for the sect before he went into seclusion. He said that if the sect was in a life-threatening crisis, he could take this token to find the Patriarch and that she must find him before the sect's protection array was broken. Luo Qinchen didn't dare to neglect and immediately went to the 9 deaths and 1 life realm. The hardships along the way made Luo Qinchen secretly think to himself, all 10,000 years have passed. Is the Patriarch really still alive? At the moment of despair, an incredibly large chicken suddenly landed in front of her. Luo Qinchen looked carefully and saw that it was the monstrous and cannibalistic purple netherworld sparrow. This kind of high-level monster, even if the entire Divine Sword sect were to come, they would still be unable to escape being devoured. Luo Qinchen collapsed in despair. Has the fate of my Forget Immortal sect really come to an end? I feel ashamed that I couldn't complete the mission and failed my section. But who would have known that in the next moment, the purple netherworld sparrow would flap its wings and carry her on its back, flying towards the deepest part of the secret realm. Luo Qinchen was dumbfounded, thinking, am I dreaming? How could a monster like this allow a human to ride on its back? But before she could recover from her shock, the purple netherworld sparrow had already flown her to a palace, set her down, and bowed down to her, saying respectfully, Master, the mission is completed. Then, a white-haired man walked slowly out of the palace. Step back, he said. Luo Qinchen was instantly shocked, wondering who this person was that even the purple netherworld sparrow would bow down to. Luo Qinchen quickly bowed to show respect. As she was still stunned, her life-saving token suddenly floated up from her chest, and then flew directly to the man. Seeing this, Luo Qinchen shouted urgently, That's my sect's life-saving token. Why did you take it away? The man coldly replied, This has always been Patriarch Qinxian's possession. Why would I need to steal it? Luo Qinchen couldn't believe it. Could it be that he was the founder of my Forget Immortal sect, Qinxian Patriarch? Luo Qinchen immediately kowtowed desperately, pleading for Patriarch Qin to come out and save their sect. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, suddenly his expression changed. My prestigious Forget Immortal sect was actually destroyed by a mere half-step divine realm trash. Just 100,000 years have passed, and the power I established has fallen like this? When have I, a traveler, experienced such frustration? Oh well, I'll just go and wipe them out with one palm. Just then, a dialogue box popped up in front of the Patriarch's eyes. The sect system is activated. The system is rebooted as a branching system. New mission released. Go through 6 trials before heading to the next continent. The Patriarch was immediately shocked. It's been 100,000 years. Do you know how I spent these 10 square years? System, oh system, you finally appeared again. The first trial, rescue the sect, but the requirement is that I cannot directly take action. The Patriarch tearfully accepted the task. Finally, I can continue to create a new continent. Then he grabbed the hands of the junior disciple little Luo with a sly smile. Although I, the Patriarch, am very strong, I must rely on you to make our sect strong. The matter of the sect can only be handled by yourselves. The Patriarch thought that the system required him not to take action, but in order to complete the task, he must also lend a hand. The Divine Sword sect has the Heavenly Sword battle garb, right? Follow me and pick out some clothes. Just then, with a snap of his fingers, they instantly arrived in a different space. the Patriarch softly exclaimed as 4 sets of battle garbs appeared before his eyes. Luo Qingchen was instantly stunned. The so-called clothes of the Patriarch were actually battle garbs of the 4 elements: wind, fire, water, and earth. Pick any one of them, and they could all easily defeat the Divine Sword Sect's Heavenly Sword battle garb. Luo Qingchen pointed at the fire element battle garb. I want this one. Who knew that Patriarch would kick the 4 sets of battle garb into pieces with 1 foot? Too ugly. Quickly get me a new batch, at least the kind that can be seen in Paris Fashion Week. Next, a set of purple battle garb caught Luo Qingchen's eye. This is the pre-heavenly poison battle garb, which was said to have been worn by a poison Shura to rescue his mother and defeat the heavenly Shura with one's own power alone, 10,000 years ago. At this point, Luo Qingchen had already imagined herself wearing it and the stunning scene it would create. Patriarch, this one, she said. But in the next moment, Patriarch slapped it into pieces. Girls should not wear anything too rebellious, he said. Then came the Thunder Infinite battle garb. No, the color is too gaudy. The Stellar Sea battle garb. The name is too tacky. The Primordial Immortal battle garb. No, my dog doesn't like it. With each explosion, Luo Qingchen's mental defense was shattered. Is this picking clothes for me, or destroying treasures? She wondered. Then, she hugged Patriarch's thigh and said, don't destroy it. Let's take this one. Patriarch looked at the bloody battle garb in his hand and said, this is the Sun God battle garb. If you can fuse perfectly with it, you can't die as long as there is fire. It's just that you are also a fire attribute. It can be considered destiny that you have chosen this one. With Patriarch's help, Luo Qingchen quickly fused with the battle garb. With this battle garb, it should be no problem to deal with the Divine Sword Sect. Luo Qingchen then prepared to return to save the sect. At this moment, the Patriarch stopped her and said there was something important for her to do. Upon hearing this, Luo Qingchen's face was full of eagerness. The Patriarch's face was serious as he asked her, can you cook? Upon hearing this, Luo Qingchen was momentarily stunned. Not only that, but the Patriarch also asked her to wear a maid outfit and cook a table of dishes. Luo Qingchen's face was full of shyness, but at this time, the sect was in trouble, and she didn't have time to eat with the Patriarch, who knew the Patriarch didn't care and directly stuffed a large piece of meat into her mouth. As the meat reached her mouth, Luo Qingchen realized it was not ordinary meat, but rather sacred Kirin meat. Just a sip of it could make her spiritual power spread throughout her body. Legend has it that thousands of years ago, when a demonic cultivator's mother was critically ill, he, who was at the peak of his cultivation, wanted to hunt the Kirin to save his mother. However, he not only failed to hunt the Kirin but was also forced to perform a stand-up comedy routine for 3 years before the Kirin would let him go. This shows how precious the Kirin is. While Luo Qingchen was still in ecstasy, the Patriarch thought she was choking and poured a pot of water down her throat. But how could it be ordinary water? It was clearly Jade Spring Divine Brew, and it was a full glass. You see, even having a drop of Jade Spring Divine Brew was a luxury for the current Forget Immortal sect. Luo Qingchen was shocked and grateful, quickly kowtowing to express her thanks. The Patriarch casually said, no need to be polite. I still have a lake of Jade Spring Divine Brew. Luo Qingchen was stunned once again. Is this the grandeur of the Patriarch of the sect? Suddenly, a thunderbolt sounded, and Luo Qingchen knew that she had successfully broken through to the quenched bone realm. At this moment, the Patriarch system panel prompted that the task of expanding the sect had been completed, and there was a reward of 10,000 years of power for the host. With a loud thunderbolt, Patriarch Qinxian successfully broke through to the second rank of the Emperor realm. It's been 100,000 years, and he finally made another breakthrough. From now on, he would secretly help his juniors while striving to upgrade himself. Immediately, Luo Qingchen prepared to thank him and returned to rescue the sect. At this moment, the Patriarch pointed to the huge blood sun in the sky and laughed. Look at this sun. Don't worry, let's steam in the sauna again. In the sauna, the Patriarch looked very pleased, while Luo Qingchen felt embarrassed. Seeing this, the Patriarch said straightforwardly, or I can tell you a nursery rhyme to divert your attention. This positive story is called Master and Disciple Living Together. As the Patriarch spoke, Luo Qingchen suddenly realized that steam was gradually gathering around her. It turned out that the Patriarch was transmitting spiritual energy to her, and although the nursery rhyme seemed frivolous, it contained the legendary Imperial level technique, the Skyfire Burning Heaven secret. You should know that the levels of techniques are divided into yellow, mysterious, earthly, heavenly, and imperial, and even the strongest rival, the Divine Sword Sect, is only at the earthly level. But now the Patriarch was teaching her the top imperial level technique. Luo Qingchen did not disappoint the Patriarch's kind intentions. The Patriarch then said to the system, "I was just having a meal and telling stories with my junior. Is that against the rules?" The system was speechless. The next morning, as Luo Qingchen prepared to bid farewell after breaking through to the nourished spirit realm, the Patriarch suddenly pulled out a small calf, saying that it could be roasted and eaten on the way if she got hungry. Looking at little Luo bringing back so many local specialties, as long as she didn't encounter anything strange, these should be enough to deal with the Divine Sword Sect, who were no match for the mighty Forget Immortal Sect. At this moment, the protective sect array of Forget Immortal Sect was finally broken through. Forget Immortal Sect was completely powerless to resist. Suddenly, a voice came from above. "Junior brothers and sisters, why are you so stubborn? A good bird chooses a good tree to perch on. Why don't you join the great Divine Sword Sect like me?" Upon hearing this, all members of Forget Immortal Sect were extremely indignant. They called Yichen a traitor to the sect, a scum who betrayed them, and the senior brother of the sect who actually defected to the enemy. However, Yichen remained calm and said, "Go ahead and kill them all." Suddenly, there was a loud noise. "Rebel, do you really think that Forget Immortal Sect has no one left?" The disciples were anxious. Older Lu's injuries had not yet healed, but he could not think too much at this moment. Faced with this rebel whom he had trained himself, Older Lu said that if he wanted to harm his sect, he would have to step over his own corpse. Then, he burned his remaining life force and struck with a final blow, vowing to personally eradicate this rebel. However, just as he was about to hit Yichen, the Divine Sword Sect's top disciple, Sword Maniac, suddenly appeared and blocked the blow. He was strong enough to compete with the elders and was the most powerful force of the Divine Sword Sect. Older Lu knew that the sect was in dire straits today. Faced with Sword Maniac's attack, Older Lu, who was already seriously injured, had no chance of defending himself and was quickly kicked to the ground. Older Lu was in great sorrow. Sect Master Luo had gone to the realm of life and death, and now she was the last force of the sect. If he couldn't hold on until Sect Master Luo returned, Forget Immortal Sect would probably fall. At this moment, Yichen was preparing to use the corpse of his master as a merit for defecting to the Divine Sword Sect. Just as Yichen's sword was about to pierce Older Lu, a dazzling sword light suddenly flashed in the distance. Immediately after, there was a loud bang, and Yichen was instantly knocked back onto a huge pillar, seemingly lifeless after the fall. Older Lu was stunned. Did that one strike really kill him? A voice came from afar. The Divine Sword Sect, which was just a small affiliate of my Forget Immortal Sect 100,000 years ago, now dares to bully your master. As a pair of beautiful legs slowly touched the ground, the newcomer was none other than Luo Qingchen, who had arrived just in time, and beside her was an angry little calf. Older Lu was shocked. As the Patriarch returned from the 9 deaths and 1 life realm, "Did you bring the Patriarch back?" he asked. Luo Qingchen smiled and said, "I found the Patriarch, but he refuses to come out of seclusion and said we should fend for ourselves." At this point, the sword fanatic stepped forward and said, "To be able to come back alive from the 9 deaths and 1 life realm, you must have some skills. I once went there when I was young and fearless, and almost lost my life. But I also gained a set of sword techniques under fortuitous circumstances, and that set of sword techniques has yet to be surpassed by anyone. Now that you can come back from there, you should be able to withstand my strongest sword, right?" Older Lu quickly urged the master to escape, as the opponent was the strongest newcomer of the Divine Sword Sect in the Nourished Spirit Realm at the 8th rank, far beyond the reach of her concentrating realm. Even in my prime, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. But Luo Qingchen just smiled and turned around to face the opponent. "Leave it to me." Before he finished speaking, flames had already begun to gather in his hand. The sword fanatic, outraged by his ignorance and arrogance, instantly erupted in anger. "A mere flame dares to challenge my overwhelming sword intent? Dragon sword of deadly intent." But Luo Qingchen just coldly laughed. "Raging fire heaven decree," and his blue sword intent was instantly crushed by a phoenix made of flames. Immediately, Sword Maniac was engulfed by the sky-high fireworks, leaving everyone present in awe. In an instant, Sword Maniac was burnt down to only his underwear. Luo Qingchen looked at the so-called Sword Maniac lying on the ground and coldly said, "How dare you show off your skills where they are not needed?" Older Lu was nearly shocked to dislocate his jaw. "Master, what kind of opportunity did you have to improve so rapidly?" Suddenly, there was a sound behind him. "Who killed my disciple?" The person who came was none other than Tang Zong, the chief elder of the Divine Sword Sect's half-step divine realm. Older Lu was once again shocked. "Run!" The old master died at the hands of his sword. Luo Qingchen listened and angrily glared. "It was you, bald donkey, who killed my master." Tang Zong immediately prepared to draw his sword. "Who gave you the courage to challenge me?" Just then, a flame suddenly floated in front of Tang Zong's eyes. He didn't think much of it, but in the next second, the spreading flame had already enveloped Tang Zong. Tang Zong was shocked. How could someone in the nourished spirit realm unleash the power of the divine realm? Die, bald donkey. Go to hell and apologize to my master. Suddenly, Tang Zong pulled out a long spear from nowhere, breaking through the flames in an instant and hitting Luo Qingshan's chest with a burst of energy in the next second. Looking at Luo Qingshan lying on the ground, Tang Zong had a smug look on his face. Did you think I was only good with the long sword? Actually, I'm also good with the long spear, and it's made of invincible diamond rock. Your master's adamantium chest armor was pierced by my rock spear and caused his death. In anger, Luo Qingshan struggled to get up and once again used the burning heaven decision, but Tang Zong used his sword energy to blow away the flames. At the same time, attacking with a gun, the raging fire has no effect whatsoever. As the attack seemed impossible to stop, at the critical moment, a calf's hoof fell from the sky, and the next second, it blocked the long gun with its horns. The supposedly invincible gun shattered into pieces instantly. Get lost, you bull. Tang Zong was stunned by what he saw, and then he tactically retreated to create distance. The young bull was itching for a fight. Originally, it had wanted to live among humans as an ordinary calf, but instead it received only rejection. Enough of the act. I am a King Realm demon, and I am showing my cards now. In an instant, the young bull turned into a towering beast. Tang Zong fell to his knees. Daddy demon, please don't eat me. If you want to eat someone, eat my disciple. Just as he was begging for mercy, Tang Zong secretly burned his life force from behind and poured his spiritual power into a dagger. Seizing the opportunity while the big bull was distracted, he unleashed a King Realm strike in an instant. Tang Zong felt satisfied with his cunning plan, having traded his life force for this full-strength blow. The tiny blade would become an unbreakable point of power against such a massive body. Even the Black Thunder Bull Python of King Realm would not be able to withstand this move. However, he had never expected that a mere sneeze from the young bull would electrocute Tang Zong to a crisp. At the moment, the young bull did not seem to realize it had killed someone, but the onlookers were all stunned. This was a Divine Realm expert who almost wiped out their sect, yet the young bull killed him so easily. As the Black Thunder Bull Python turned its attention back to them, it was dumbfounded to find everything around it charred. All the snacks that were within reach were ruined. The Patriarch from the 9 Deaths and 1 Life realm realized that it was wise to send the little black bull away. Although it was just a small demon in the King Realm, its defense was invincible. Unless they were of a higher level or had a racial advantage, they would not be able to break its defense. How could the Divine Sword Sect ever have anyone who could defeat the young bull? I should just relax and read my novel. At this moment, Luo Qingshan fell to the ground with a thump. The Patriarch has been really good to me. I originally thought he was just an ordinary pet, but I didn't expect him to be such a capable warrior. Seeing this, the remaining disciples of the Divine Sword Sect scattered in all directions. In the midst of celebration for the Forget Immortal Sect's survival, older Lu collapsed on the ground, exhausted and depleted of nearly 90% of his life force, and it seemed he wouldn't live for another half an hour. At that moment, Little Black reminded her, "Don't you have the Jade Spring Divine Brew with you? Just give him a sip." Older Lu took the Jade Spring Divine Brew seriously, knowing how precious it was and didn't want to waste it on a dying old man, saving it for the younger generation instead. But the next moment, Luo Qingshan pulled out a large jug of it, and older Lu, at the brink of death, was shocked. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, and thought he was either dreaming or already dead. Ignoring his own image, older Lu licked the ground to savor the spilled Jade Spring Divine Brew. Seeing this, Luo Qingshan felt a bit embarrassed, telling him it wasn't necessary, since the Patriarch had a whole lake of it. Little Black sneered, saying that he had never seen such an ignorant bumpkin. Older Lu couldn't believe his eyes, thinking he was either dreaming or had died already. Seeing this, Luo Qingshan summoned his Tyri God battle garb, and said that little bull was just one of the most ordinary of the Patriarch's thousands of demon beasts. Can you believe it now? Older Lu's worldview, built up over tens of thousands of years, instantly collapsed, and he began to swallow the Jade Spring Divine Brew in big gulps. With the Patriarch's inheritance, the Forget Immortal Sect would finally rise again, and this time they vowed to eradicate the Divine Sword Sect once and for all. At this moment, the Divine Sword Sect finally remembered the fear of being dominated by the Forget Immortal Sect 10,000 years ago. The Black Thunder Bull Python and the Tyri Yangshan body are now in a frenzy of killing. However, a man in the Divine Sword Sect's hall is completely calm. This man is the sect master Jian Wuming. It turns out that he has long been deprived of his body by a mysterious force, and this force also sent someone to steal the soul-devouring bead. This attack on the Forget Immortal Sect was also provoked by him. At this moment, Jian Wuming has completely become a puppet. The disciples of the Divine Sword Sect were overjoyed to see the sect master come out again. but they quickly realized that even the sect master was not strong enough to deal with the Black Thunder Bull Python, let alone he had just recovered from a serious illness a month ago. They immediately asked the sect master to lead everyone to escape, because after all, as long as there are survivors, the Green Hills are not afraid of firewood. They could come back to attack the Forget Immortal sect after rebuilding their sect. However, Jian Wuming, who had his body taken over by the magic bead, smirked and asked if he needed them, useless people, to replace the Forget Immortal sect as his nourishment. He lifted the soul-devouring bead and flew into the air, and the entire sect was covered by the magic bead in an instant. All the disciples of the sect were motionless under the magic light, and in a blink of an eye, all the disciples were killed by having their souls sucked out. At this moment, the soul-devouring bead was even more expanded, and Jian Wuming, under the blessing of the magic bead, kept ascending his level. He soon reached the level of King Realm 2nd grade. Luo Qingchen and the Black Thunder Bull Python, who were not far away, were shocked to see the scene. They wondered if the Divine Sword sect was killing themselves. Then they heard a noise behind the bull. No wonder the small Forget Immortal sect dared to launch a counterattack. It turned out that there was a mutated Black Thunder Bull Python and even the legendary Tai Ri Yangshan body. This is interesting. Seeing this situation, the little black one was shocked. These two people turned out to be demons. It is difficult to kill demons who are good at using black energy, and they improve their cultivation by feeding on humans and beasts. But weren't the demons destroyed by humans hundreds of thousands of years ago? Why does the rekindling happen now in this small sword sect? Luo Qingchen immediately sent a message to Little Black. I'll hold back one demon, you quickly kill the other. Luo Qingchen knew he wasn't their match. That was a King Realm succubus. But she decided to fight to the death anyway. As soon as she moved forward, she used all her strength to perform her most powerful move, Burning Sky Flame Slash. With a single slash, the succubus lost all resistance. And at that moment, the Black Thunder Python pretended to be hit by the enemy. In its moment of complacency, it instantly wrapped its tail around the opponent. Then, in the sky, it gathered a huge thunderbolt and struck him. The two thought their plan had worked, but the next second, the succubus appeared unharmed, flying out of the flames. It was already impressive that someone at the Nourished Spirit Realm could unleash such power, but unfortunately, the gap in realm couldn't be crossed easily. Meanwhile, the power demon cruelly tore the tail of the Black Thunder Python. Even such an invincible defense was instantly broken. Just as the two demons were about to deal the final blow, two energy blades suddenly knocked them away. The mysterious pair then killed the two demons. Luo Qingchen rushed forward to express his gratitude and offered them the Jade Spring Divine Brew as a token of thanks. But the mysterious siblings didn't even glance at it, saying they weren't interested in such a vulgar thing. They had come from afar to retrieve the national treasure, the soul-eating orb. And the matter of the demons wasn't something that small sects like theirs should get involved in. Next time, they should remember to run as far as they can. But at this moment, the element demon had successfully refined the soul-eating orb. After 100,000 years, the half-step Emperor Realm element demon finally reappeared in the world. In the face of the unshackled element demon, the demon hunters were not afraid. What could a half-step Emperor do? Anyone who dared to steal their national treasure, the soul-eating orb, would have to die. The Black Thunder Python also realized what was going on. These were demon hunters, not only with demon blood, but also able to use the power of the demons, born with the ability to confront the demon clan beyond one's level. The battle to exterminate the demon clan 100,000 years ago. Their ancestors had made great contributions, but before they could finish speaking, the two demon slayers were instantly knocked to the ground. They were unable to break through the barrier of the element demon. It turned out that after refining the soul-devouring bead, it became a protective treasure with the laws of heaven and earth. It could not only be used for imprisonment but also for defense. With this, he was no longer afraid of any attacks. Hearing this, the demon slayers were frightened. It was actually the laws of heaven and earth. This was something they couldn't deal with at their level. They immediately prepared to flee. But at this moment, the original demon had already enveloped the entire continent with the soul-devouring bead. Two King Realm demon slayers, a mutated Black Thunder Bull Python, an Emperor rank battle garb, plus hundreds of Forget Immortal sect disciples, all became my nourishment. At this moment, Luo Qingchen was filled with regret. He shouldn't have led all the disciples of the sect to counterattack. Now, he could only watch as his cultivation was slowly being absorbed. Just then, there was a sudden loud noise in the sky. My juniors, hello everyone. A huge vortex suddenly appeared in the sky, followed by a giant colorful arm descending from the sky. The Black Thunder Bull Python immediately recognized that its master had arrived. The original demon was also trembling with fear. To be able to exert the power of the laws of heaven and earth without external help, this person was at least above the Emperor realm. This is just a small area where King realm can claim to be king. Why would an Emperor realm expert appear here, and still claiming to be the Patriarch of Forget Immortal Sect? At this point, Qinshian smiled and said, "The Patriarch is just here to say hello, not to save you." Oh, Qinshian also asked the system about something. "I just shook hands with my junior, don't consider it as making a move." System is speechless. As soon as this was said, Yuan Mo breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that this level of powerful beings had already looked down upon life and death, and perhaps had no interest in the laws of life and death. Immediately afterwards, Qinshian politely said, "The way we greet each other in our place is to shake hands." While Element Demon was still dazed, a huge palm attacked from the sky. "Wait, why did they shake hands with their junior and come towards me?" Element Demon finally realized that he was the target. Element Demon was unwilling to be destroyed just like this. He had taken over the body of the Divine Sword Sect's Sect Master after enduring for 1,000 years, and it took him 10,000 years to refine the soul-devouring pearl. Why did he encounter such a powerful being as soon as he appeared in the world after being sneaky for so long? Was heaven determined to destroy his demonic race? If it was war, then so be it. The bloodline of the demon race was fully activated, the bloodline of the soul-devouring pearl was fully activated, and the heavenly sword battle garb was fully activated. After all, he was only half a step away from the Emperor realm. As the strongest complete form of the demon race, Element Demon's firepower was now fully open. He was bursting with confidence. "Come and fight. Even the Jade Emperor can't kill me now. At this moment, I am already the pinnacle of this continent." But before Element Demon could finish gloating, Qinshian blasted him away with a palm, sending him flying tens of thousands of meters. The entire continent was almost split in half. Qinshian sneered and said, "I, Xian Heaven Emperor, have been living in seclusion in this world for 10,000 years, and it seems that everyone has forgotten about me now." If you look at the history of the Hongmen continent 10,000 years ago, you will find that every page is written with the words Xian Heaven Emperor is invincible, and Xian Heaven Emperor's greatest characteristic is protecting his own. As siblings who are demon hunters, they were instantly stunned. Who exactly is this? Even their Haoyue kingdom would be like ants in front of such a top-level powerhouse. The Patriarch decided to continue being a salted fish. "Next, you all should study hard and make progress every day." At this moment, the younger generation bid farewell to the Patriarch in a proud manner. Xiao's siblings had an awkward look on their faces. "Just a moment ago, it seemed like we were talking about them. Little Sect, don't meddle in other people's business." Who would have thought that their Patriarch was such a big shot? "How about we give a gift to curry favor?" Then, they stopped Luo Qinshan. "This is the starfall map of our Haoyue kingdom. Please accept it as a token of gratitude for saving the Patriarch." The sudden gift shocked Luo Qinshan. "This is a treasure map that records the location of a powerful fallen treasure. I cannot accept such a valuable gift." However, the Xiao siblings thought she was looking down on them and immediately kneeled, ready to fight her to the end. Luo Qinshan reluctantly accepted the gift after their persistent insistence. Suddenly, Luo Qinshan felt a sense of mission. Now that the archenemy Divine Sword Sect has turned into ruins and Forget Immortal Sect has found its faith, it is time to rebuild the Forget Immortal Sect. The crisis of the Forget Immortal Sect has been resolved, and the Patriarch has helped the younger generation resolve the sect's crisis. The first trial has been completed, and a direct reward of 10,000 years of power is given. Qinshian's realm has also reached Emperor Realm Tier 3. The system prompt stated that the next mission is related to the intruder of the 9 deaths and 1 life realm. The host needs to find clues on their own. With such generous rewards, Qinshian is looking forward to the next mission.